Well, hello everyone again, and welcome to today's masterclass. And today is all about pitching, and a question that we've had in from John Slater. Thank you, John, for the question. So I'm going to be doing some pitching, and John's question is this: when you're pitching, how far should you be landing the ball with each club, and relative to the distance of the actual shot? So opening a can of worms, that one, I guess. It all depends on conditions: uphill, downhill, fast ground, slow ground, ball stopping, etc, etc. So that's an educated decision that you've got to make out on the golf course, pitching the ball the right distance so that you know you land the ball far enough so that it actually reaches the hole, or you land the ball short enough for it to land on the ground and then for it to run to its destination. Loft, I've got my 58-degree wedge in my bag. I do a lot of pitching with this club. I also use my 52 quite a bit as well. And my pitching wedge, which I don't use as much, that's generally for shorter running shots, which I also use with my 9-iron. Remember that the lower the trajectory, the lower the loft of the golf club, the lower the ball will go off, the more it'll run. Use my 58, the higher it'll go, and obviously with that club, once it goes high, it'll stop a lot faster. So the idea of working out the shot in preparation is massively important. Have a look at the shot, pick your spot on the ground. You'll know where it should be because you know exactly the shot that you're trying to play with the club in your hand. Now, the most important thing now is to remember that spot and to remember exactly where you want your golf ball to land so that you're actually focusing on that spot that's in front of you. From a technical point of view, what we've got to remember is that we can't create two forms or two sources of energy in the swing. One source could be the shoulder turn. There's your energy coming from your shoulders. And the second source could be your arms. So my arms can create a pace, but so can my body. And that's normally where we get caught out when we're pitching and we pitch the ball too far, pull the ball because we're using our arms only, and then get too much energy involved because the golf club is traveling too fast for the shot. In other situations, we can get scared, we don't want to go too long, and end up pitching the ball too short because we haven't created enough energy. So here's a tip for everyone now on how to create the right kind of energy for each shot that you've got in mind, whether it be short or long, doesn't really matter. So once I've got myself set up, and remember, within your setup, your ball position will determine whether you want to hit the ball high or low. So a forward ball position for higher shots, a ball back in the stance for lower shots, because we're always going to retain the same handle position, cross from that left thigh. And once I've actually looked and seen the distance that I want to get the ball to travel, of course, it's up to me now to provide the energy for that shot. So how do I do that? Well, I'm going to try to get the same amount of energy in the golf club as I am in my rotation. So I'm not going to let the golf club travel faster than I'm traveling. So my key here in practice is to rotate the golf club back and to now rotate the golf club through. And by making a full rotation, you can actually get the ball to start on line most of the time. One of the most common occurrences of people pitching to greens 40, 50, 60, 70 yards, maybe not full shots, and because of that you tend not to turn properly and pull the ball to the left, and that's because the arms haven't actually reached a position behind you enough to come back down on line. Let's take a look at that. So I pitch the ball like this, I haven't turned much, my arms are too far in front of me, and by the time I start turning through, club comes from the outside, and all of a sudden I've pulled it and missed the green left. Hole 16 at Tandridge, absolute classic example of that happening so often. So we must combat that by making a full turn, and we make a full turn irrespective of the distance of the shot. All I'm going to do is make sure that the swing is going slowly enough so I can control. So for this particular shot now, watch the turn as I turn my shoulders. Now I turn my shoulders through. I'm using my rotation to take the golf club back. Now, what I'm not doing in that situation there is this. Because in that swing there, I've only used my hands and arms, and I don't really know where that's going to start. Is it going to start on line or not? So by controlling the speed, all I'm going to do is to let my shoulders rotate the golf club back. Now I'll rotate it through, and that's going to get you started, you know, in the right line and hopefully with the right distance all the time. From a mental point of view, a lot of people are worried about their own techniques. But if you think about this as a technique now, don't think about your swing, think about the spot that you want the ball to land on. Now in this situation, I'm going to think about that spot and I'm going to pretend it's a little bit further away. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to increase my rotation slightly, but I'm also going to increase the speed of my swing a little bit. And because remember, I want the shoulders and the club to be traveling at the same pace, I'm going to pitch the ball now a little bit further. So here we go, more of a turn, more speed, and away we go. That ball's going to travel a lot further, and vice versa now on this next one. I'm now going to get the ball to travel a lot shorter distance. So I'm using this almost as a sort of 20-30 yard pitching exercise. There goes the shoulders turning. Now the shoulders have turned through, and you can see that despite that being a very short shot, I've still made as much turn as I possibly can. And what that's done is it's allowed my arms to turn behind me and get them in a nice line so I can start the ball on line. Pulling the ball from those chip shots is just so easy to do. So remember, what you should be practicing is making a proper turn, but to try to gauge the speed of your arms similar to the speed of your rotation. And if you can do that, then you'll be able to pitch the ball the right distance every time. A little bit more pace, a little further shot, a little less pace, bring the shot closer to you, but with that point, landing point in mind all the time. That's exactly what we're going to be trying to do. Get that into practice in the garden, and I'll see you all again.